With the recent announcement of a DAZN X Misfits boxing card coming up later this summer, more and more talk in the YouTube boxing community has begun to shift upon Alex Wassabi as he's taking on the nightmare himself, KSI. A lot of talk is being put on this fight. So many questions are beginning to arise about Alex Wassabi, and today we're going to attempt to answer at least a few of those questions as we get into the Alex Wassabi analysis. Now we're going to look at Alex Wassabi's last fight when he fought Deji. It so happens to be KSI's younger brother. We're going to jump in and break this down. Unfortunately, for some reason, Social Gloves won't let me go back and actually watch the OG one, so fuck you, Social Gloves. But today we're going to just look at a YouTube highlight of this fight. Should be the same thing. It just won't be as high of quality. So sit back and let's get into it. So right away, obviously, first 10 seconds gone of the fight. Not much to break down from Alex Wassabi. Obviously, we can tell from boxing IQ if he's taking control of the lead hand, lead leg here, but that's not going to be something too big to worry about against KSI. So I'm not going to buy into this too much. Obviously, the lead foot battle, lead hand battle is pretty even as we're only 10 seconds in. Just lots of parrying the jab from Deji. Alex just tapping the jab out. Now, one thing that we know about KSI is that he's going to have to be coming down in weight in this fight, and he's going to be willing to walk forward against Alex Wassabi, as we've already seen him walk forward against bigger guys like Logan Paul. So we know that Alex Wassabi is going to need to be more, evasive in this fight and dart around the ring a lot more, utilize his footwork, and just pick him apart from the outside. Even though he will have a shorter reach, I believe he's not going to be able to get in and make this fight dirty. There's definitely a power advantage for KSI. So the thing for Alex Wassabi is we need to see if he can move around the ring well, and right there, look at that. So we're going to go back because this could actually be a pretty telling moment in this fight. So he's not really moving. He settles, very susceptible to this hook. Obviously KSI is going to be orthodox though, but you know what that reminds me of? KSI's overhand right. If Alex Wassabi throws that left hand and leans back the way he did there, he could get caught. Now, this is me assuming that this is old KSI. Apparently KSI's gotten better. I'm not going to lie, guys, it's hard for me to buy it. I'm sure he's made some improvements, but look at that straight left. Lands pretty flush. Alex Wassabi, I think he's going to need to keep a higher guard against KSI as well. I don't like the loose guard here. Misses the overhand right, misses the straight right, and is put back into the southpaw stance, something you see from a lot of unexperienced fighters, changing stances as they throw on accident, not on purpose. They overcommit. He overcommits heavily here. So if KSI can make Alex Wassabi miss, that's going to be big for KSI because he'll be able to capitalize on it. And Deji just didn't have a lot of output in this fight, so it's hard to really break down. There are some combinations. Alex Wassabi is definitely susceptible to volume punching, I feel like. There's the hands down. Right here, you can look at this. Look at the way this hand is. He's clearly mainly focusing on parrying a jab, and that's something that I think KSI is going to want to do in this fight. I think he's going to want to fire the jab repeatedly because I think because Alex Wassabi likes to parry the jab. He does not like to get hit at all, and we've only seen a little bit from the Deji fight. I don't think Alex Wassabi has a great chin either, so he's definitely going to be looking to parry shots because obviously you have this defense upright, but we can't really tell too much. I don't even know if these gloves are on his head, so if he takes a shot, that glove's going to go back into his head. The way he's holding his hand here for a parry, even if KSI here fires a straight right down the middle or even a jab, and Wassabi doesn't parry, look at that. Space there. He's going to hit himself in the head, and it's just going to take more damage from KSI or Deji here. But look, man, Alex Wassabi doesn't seem that fast either, and when he misses, look at him. Fully square, man. Deji, I don't know what Deji was doing here. He just turns his back. Wassabi had a hard time finding Deji in this fight, finding his shots, but still, I think KSI's gonna have less head. We're gonna definitely have less head movement than this. We know KSI probably has a better chin than Alex Wassabi, so Alex Wassabi's not gonna want to just stand and bang with him. Not saying that I think Alex Wassabi would want to stand and bang. Look at that, man. Wow. So we can already look at the glove. The glove's up. Like if someone was throwing almost like a stab jab type, where you keep the thumb up in the air, it's just quick right to the target. He doesn't turn the shot over, barely at all. This hand obviously very low, so if KSI, slips to the outside, or if even he could slip into the inside here and land a right hook, and Wassabi would most likely be wide open. I mean, look at that. He finds himself square, fully overcommitted. Even from that, Wassabi stumbles a little bit, and it was nothing from Deji. He does fall for feints a little bit. See, look at that. That's not good, because this is Wassabi going to parry a shot, but creating a lot of space from his head and his hands. And Deji, if Deji was willing to throw there, he's finding shots. Pretty sure this is when a guy walked into the ring. That Showstar event was pretty a mess. Oh, here's the clip. That was pretty ridiculous. So back to it. Okay, very flat-footed here. You don't want to see this. If you're moving to your left leg should be moving first. Obviously, you can angle off, and that is fine. But this isn't a combination angle off. This is a from space, showing poor footwork, and I think this is how he could get caught against KSI. So let's really break down this footwork here. So, obviously, I guess never mind. It's not as great as I would want it to be, but it's actually pretty solid. It looked like from that, he's slow. His footwork is fairly slow here, but still, the way he brings it around, I paused it, or bad frame there, but still, you're going to have fairly fast footwork with KSI, I believe. Missing just a sloppy right hook. Man, Alex Wassabi, it feels like, just wasn't winning this fight. I guess maybe this is just the clip too. The only reason he won this fight was just barely. He barely won this fight, and it was just on output because Deji just didn't want to get hit. There's a right hook that seemed to get a reaction out of Deji. It wasn't crazy great. So Deji slips the jab on the inside. So slips on the inside. If you're slipping the jab, it's better to be on the outside right, because this hand is right here. Wassabi doesn't fire it, but also Deji just ducks. Wassabi does fire it, but just pretty late. I don't know how. It doesn't seem like Wassabi's the quickest fighter in the scene, right? And I think speed and timing will overcome the, just power of KSI. I hate to say KSI is like crazy knockout power, because we don't know if he does. We really don't. He doesn't really. We've seen it. It's not crazy knockout power, but the guy's got heart, and he just grinds. There's a right hook that just hit nothing but air from Deji. And Wassabi doing a good job just touching him with the lead hand. That's a big thing for him. But against KSI's taller. KSI's taller, he's longer. You're not going to be able to do that against KSI, just hold out a jab. So there he goes to parry the shot. I think we could see something that's similar to happen if you're an MMA fan. I hate to bring it to MMA, but if you saw the way Alex Pereira, I don't know how to say it, Alex Pereira knocked out Sean Strickland, I think we could see something like this. Okay, so Wassabi loves to parry the jab. He loves parrying shots. I think it's because maybe it was a technique that he was newer to and wanted to show it off. I don't know, but he did overly parry in this fight. He was looking for a lot of parries, it feels like. So KSI, if he wants to, if he straightens out his shots, fires straight rights down the middle, and if Wassabi keeps the hands, let's imagine this is up here, right, with it outward, he's still going to fire the right hand. It'll hurt Wassabi a little bit if it lands decently, and it's going to open him up for a left hook. If KSI can move to his left, which obviously could be dangerous against more of a power puncher, but Wassabi is not that. So if you're KSI, you're going to feel fairly comfortable moving off to your left. You don't want to go into your opponent's power hand typically, right? If KSI's here, he's not going to want to go this way because he's walking into the rear hand. He's walking into the power hand. But we've seen from this fight, Wassabi does not have that much power, and we know KSI can take a shot fairly well. I mean, he recovered pretty quickly after taking a nasty uppercut from Logan Paul. So if anything, I think one of KSI's best paths to victory in this fight is going to be a straight right down the middle to set up a check left hook. Because Wassabi's going to leave himself open to that, especially if he fights the way he did in this fight, where he did leave the hands down a lot anyways. And Wassabi didn't seem to have he has decently fast reflexes, I guess. But, Look at that. Just sloppy. Clearly frustrated. I think KSI is going to want to make Alex Wassabi frustrated in this fight because we see what happens when he gets frustrated. He starts getting even more sloppy. Just firing with the right over and over. However, it is against a southpaw fighter, and you can use your right hand a lot more in combinations. You can throw it almost like a jab when you're fighting someone opposite stance. So, not, I guess, a ton we can learn from that. Very sloppy uppercut there. He tries to fire this counter left hook. Look at where he's landing on his hand. Inside of the glove. Just it's not. This elbow needs to be up more and needs to be turned over more. If you want to land with this part of the glove, you want to land with these two big knuckles here, right? That's where you're going to get the most power. And he just doesn't do that. And then here it is, blitzing right hand. If KSI, I really do see KSI winning this fight with a check left hook. If KSI's skills have evolved to the point where he says he has evolved to, and we don't know that. So if I'm looking at this like KSI's gotten immensely better, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at this like KSI's gotten a lot better. But if we look at KSI's old skills, he could he'd probably just counter this with a crazy overhand right. But if new KSI's legit, if he's taking his time trying to learn technique, fundamentals, truly learn fundamentals, I could see him countering this with a check left hook. I mean, the blitz is terrible from Wassabi here. I know it's frustration after Deji's missed a lot of these shots, but Wassabi, if he's content to go in the clinch early on, and if KSI's allowing him to go in the clinch early on, I think something like that'll happen, and KSI can just simply angle off and fire a left or a right even. It's just going to be KSI almost conditioning that clinch, getting Wassabi comfortable blitzing into the clinch. Like look at here, man. Just Wassabi. Very telegraphed jab. I guess it cut off there. But see, just nice jab, I guess, there. This highlight is all over the place. So he has cornered Deji. Footwork is going to be big. If he can corner KSI, that's going to be a big thing for him. But I don't think Wassabi's super tough. I don't think he's going to be able to do work in the clinch either. So it's up close in hook range and uppercut range. From distance, like, look at that, man. Doesn't really land. Actually, Wassabi kind of got out of the way of that. So if he pulls and fires a 2 there, but he doesn't, he just pulls. From Wassabi, I think, he eats that left hand. Deji started to put on more volume here, I guess. Just a flurry from Wassabi. Nothing great. Right into the body. From what I'm seeing from Wassabi, is it's defense, break, offense. It's not counter. There's a lot of lack of counters here. And I do believe that's a fear from Alex Wassabi of getting hit. I think the first time this guy really even got in a fight, and obviously it was a spar with Fuzi, he got knocked down pretty bad. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of psychological almost damage to him there, because he's very timid when it comes to throwing counters. So yeah, I think if he wants to beat KSI, he would have to put KSI on the back foot. That's his only real path to victory. And he's not going to be able to do that. So the other possible path to victory, I guess there's two. I'm talking too quick here, man. If he can stay on the outside, jab and move. But if he fights like this, where it's defense, break, offense, he's not going to be able to win. He's going to have to jab, slip, fire another jab, angle off. And the way he angles off, his footwork doesn't look that advanced. You need very advanced footwork to be a smaller guy against a guy like KSI and beat him. Good, actually pretty decent defense here, utilizing the Philly shell. It wasn't great, but he still was stopping a lot of shots. Working the clinch. I mean, I think KSI could have a part of the game plan to just kind of try and gas out Wassabi. Cause that could work. We know Wasabi's gas tank might not be as well as tested. It's not as tested. That's a fact. Cause these are 2 minutes. He went for 2 5s. I'm assuming the KSI fight's going to be 6 3s, maybe. Yeah, maybe 8 3s. I don't know. I was going to look it up, but I don't know how we're going to know. Also, weight-wise, that's definitely going to be a factor. Because if KSI's cutting weight, we don't know how that cut's going to affect him. He'll be more powerful than Wassabi, but the speed will probably be a factor. We know KSI is fairly fast for his size. Pushing Deji off. He's not that strong in the clinch. He's not very physically imposing. That's something we know about Wassabi. He's pretty weak in the clinch. And KSI, I'm sure, could exploit that. Just gas him out. Not something you want to see from the back foot to be fully out like this. You want, especially firing that right, firing that too. You want to be on your toe here. You want to be transferring this weight from your leg all the way into this direction of all the way from your hips, from the toe. You're literally, your toes right here. You're on your toes. You turn it over. All that weight goes right into that right hand. And he just doesn't have that, and that's why he doesn't have a lot of power. He jumps up off of it. But, like, even this, it's just sloppy in terms of where his feet are. And that was the fight. So, I guess a final summary on Wassabi is that if he wants to beat KSI, I don't believe he'll be able to get in the clinch up close and bang with him. That'd usually be the path to victory, but I don't think he'll be able to. So, the real path to victory really would be if Wassabi could stay on the outside, jab, slip, move, constantly be on his bicycle in the fight. But that's going to be a really challenging thing for Wassabi to get done. I don't think anyone realizes how tiring that is. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. If you like the video, like it and subscribe, all that jazz. We're trying to grow on the channel, and yeah, best YouTube boxing analysis you're ever going to get in the business. Peace.